Hey, what's up? It's me, your girl, Miss Hair and Humor, but I did not always have that name. Creating a social media name was one of the more fun parts of my journey and having a home for all of my work and where I was going to show up to the rest of the world. I am here to show you how easy it is for you to take up space and separate your craft from your personal life. You don't want to confuse your audience, and social media is all about finding your audience, finding the people that are going to support you, finding the people that are going to cheer you on, that are going to watch your growth, and ultimately the goal is to have them invest in you. And the best way to do that is to take up space on social media, such as Instagram. Out of all of the other platforms, Instagram has been my main home. That is where people find my work. That is where people find me. That is where I have a lot of conversations and create that first connection between me and the client. And so I'm here to show you how to create your page and take up space so that people can find you. Let me tell you very quickly about how I came up with the name Miss Hair and Humor. So I started as a blogger. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but it didn't last very long. I ran out of things to talk about, and ultimately I knew I wanted to do hair. So when I was brainstorming on ideas about what I could call my page or my blog, I just thought about who I was, and hair kept coming up in that description. I was like, okay, I know hair has to be part of it, but what else? There has to be more to it. I don't want to just talk about hair. And so Hair and Humor was born, right? When I moved from that blog to Instagram, I realized that I wasn't talking about something outside of me, and I was really talking about myself or my experiences and my journey. And the best way to stay true to what I already created, but then personalize it, was to add an MS. And so Ms. Hair and Humor was born. I created my Instagram account, made sure it was available, which it was. Nobody had that name. Nobody was using that hashtag. I was like, this is perfect. I will become Miss Hair and Humor on social media. Once I created the account and uploaded my first few images, I started to incorporate my personality in the captions. And then during that time, I was also in beauty school. And so I would kind of share and include my audience with what I was doing. So that just kind of spiked their curiosity. I also started playing with hashtags. So my growth in taking up space as Miss Hair and Humor was exactly in correlation with me understanding the power of Instagram and how to use hashtags. Eventually, the more hashtags I used, the more consistent I became. My page started to grow. People who were looking for things under the hashtags I was using would find me, check out my page, see if they wanted to stay and support. And so all of those things coming together at once also created my first few hundred people in my audience. As my skill level grew, as my pictures got better, as I went through my licensing for hairstyling, the audience that started with me followed me, saw how I got better. And so Miss Hair and Humor as a brand was starting to shape. And the more I learned, I also understood and watched patterns of what people liked, what they didn't like, what got a good reaction, what didn't. The real proof that Miss Hair and Humor was a thing is when I would attend public events in the natural hair world, or even just walking around my neighborhood, and people started to refer to me as Miss Hair and Humor. And I thought, this is so cool. So I'm here to show you how to take up space, walk you through my steps for people to identify you, identify your work. You can be consistent, and you can just separate that part of your life. Eventually, as you grow, you can share more, but especially in the beginning, you want to kind of pull that part of your life, give it a home, create something solid, a solid foundation, and then you can branch out later. So here are the steps. Step 1. Brainstorm the things about you that people describe you with. You know, are you funny? Are you tall? You play sports? Are you in your full-time job in a completely different field? Just write down all the things that come to mind. Are you from a cool city? Are you from a quiet city? So write down all those adjectives. In the next column, write down the specific words that pertain to the skill that you have or what you are working towards. So for example, if you are already a braider, think of interesting ways that you can communicate that you braid without maybe necessarily using the word braid. You want to be unique, but not too complicated that people miss the point of your name. So you can use words like braid, stitch, pattern, fingers, hands. Think of all the things that go along with the work that you're doing. If you want to take it broader and you don't just want to talk about braiding, also think about the industry. Now, if you know that you plan on eventually going to school and being more of a stylist, you offer more services, you might not want to box yourself in right now, but obviously you can always change that, right? But remember, right now, it's all about just taking up space. So don't overthink it. That's the most important thing. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Try to make it unique, because if you love it, you'll have it for a long time. But also know that nothing is forever. You can always come back and remix it. This first step is just for you to take up space. The same way I used hair and humor to take up space in the blog world, eventually I became Miss Hair and Humor. And that time period was maybe a couple of months. So don't think that if you create something, you have to be that forever. This is just to take up space and separate what you do from other things in your life. The other thing you want to think about is your target audience. Now, what you call your brand or your name is personal to you and should indicate, ideally, or give a clue about what the service is. But you also have to think about the other person. Who is your target audience? Who are you trying to appeal to? So if you're trying to appeal to a younger audience, you might want to think of words or names that send that message immediately in the name. For example, I'm totally making this up. If you're a braider and you know you want to braid children, you might think of a name like the Kid Braider, Baby Braid Pro, or the Child Braid Expert. If you have an older audience, you may not want to use that name because that will be an immediate turnoff. You have to play around with mixing the industry with a little bit of you so that it's specific to you. Get creative, use that list of adjectives and description words to put them together in fun ways and say it out loud. That's another tip you can do. Once you have the words and connect them, say it out loud. Say, would I want to hear that out loud if I wrote it and someone said, hey, Curlin' Iron Kathy, that's catchy and it's cute, but do you want to be known by that? So also be careful about that. The next step, you want to make sure it doesn't exist already, right? So if you are Box Braiding Brenda or Hot Bunny B, you want to open Instagram and check to see if anybody already has that name. Do a quick internet search. One of the things that you also have to keep in mind is that if you are now creating this as a business or for people to take you serious as a stylist or a braider, be consistent in your marketing. You want to have an idea of what's going on out there. So when you think of this name, hop on Instagram, type in whatever name you think of and do a quick search. Is there anything under the hashtag? Is the name already taken? Start to create your world. Again, you don't have to marry the idea forever, but as a start, it's a good idea to do this a little bit of research, especially if it becomes catchy and clients love it and you love it. You want to already have the beginning steps of doing research for full ownership so that you'll know that no matter where you are, what you do, or what platform you choose, you own the name that you choose. Keep the name consistent to the email that you'll eventually create. Repetition is key for people to have your name in their mind. Some people will create a name, Box Braiding Brenda, then their email, it'll be Hot Bunny B. And Hot Bunny B does not correlate to Box Braiding Brenda unless somebody really gets to know you or books you multiple times. You want Hot Bunny B website, you want Hot Bunny B name on social media, you want Hot Bunny B email, because now when people think about you, they don't have to think, wait, what's her email? Wait, what's her page? Wait, what's her hashtag? Hot Bunny B, Hot Bunny B, Hot Bunny B. You know what I'm saying? So make sure it all connects. Make sure it's something that you won't get tired of. So you want to think about your audience. You want to think about how it relates to you. And you also want it to be something that you don't mind seeing consistently. The next thing you want to do is to find or take a good photo for your bio. just to take up space, you can open a photo app, you can open your Instagram stories, take a picture of a blank clear background. I used to take a picture of a black cloth or put my phone to my sweater, take a picture, just get a clean background, type the name of your page, play around with the font, and let that exist for a while as you develop the page more. I personally recommend you find a picture of yourself that kind of sets the mood and the tone of who you are. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you'll see somebody with a picture in their bio of them looking a little more intimate or a little more sexy when the message of your page is not about that. Now, you do want to look pretty, you do want to feel good, but for purposes of what the business is, you want people to take you serious. So you don't want to put a picture looking like a serious headshot or a passport photo, but you do want to set a tone that you are happy, you are confident, and you're ready to get down to business. There's nothing else to distract them. So I suggest a happy picture, something where you feel your best, you look your best, you look excited, because again, that picture will set the tone for your page. Because if people don't know you, all they have to judge you on is that picture, unfortunately. As you develop the page, then you can change it to something more fun where people start understanding who you are. You can also choose to stay away from that completely. And like I said, use a picture that relates to the work you do. Maybe you take a nice picture of your desk that you work on. Maybe it's a picture of a blow dryer, a comb, but set up in a nice way. Or maybe it's a picture of an install you did. Or you can use the website Unsplash, UNSPLASH.com, and they have tons of free images that you can download and use until you take a better picture or until you have some clients and generate some work. So the last part of creating your page is your bio. The bio is super, super, super important. The bio section is limited in characters and it's short. So you want to be impactful and you want to get to the point quickly. The best way to do that is to do like a very short exercise where you kind of fill in the blanks, right? So the exercise is when you say something like, I am blank and I help blank, or I teach blank, or I specialize in blank, right? So for example, I am a braider that specializes in cornrows. Welcome to my world. I am a stylist that specializes in braids. Let me braid you up. You know, choose something short and fun and gets to the point. Use 1 or 2 emojis, not too many so that it's distracting and childish, but just to emphasize who you are and what you do. Also, you have the ability to add a link. So if you have a YouTube page or if you're an affiliate for anybody, add a link to your bio section. Use an arrow to point down at it. People, even if you put all of your information on your page, people are going to ask questions. So you want to make sure to direct people's eyes. Even if they miss it, it's there. So yeah, that is a very short way to take up space. It's the easiest beginner-friendly way to take up space. There's a whole bunch of tactics about how to optimize your Instagram, but right now we're not getting to that. Right now we're just building the foundation. You can always come back and change your bio. I have probably changed my bio, honestly, 8 or 9 times since I created my page, because as I grow or as I see what works on other pages, I take inspiration. I try to create something that can just continuously get more and more powerful. Tell people who you are right off the bat so that they can decide if they're in the right place. You don't want to just attract any and everybody. You want to attract the people that are going to pour into you, that are going to choose you. So that's why you want to be specific in your bio. Some people will see your picture or see your flag if you have a connection to a specific island, if you have a connection to a zodiac. You can put 1 thing or 2 things that maybe will draw people in, because sometimes people support you just based on where you're from. So I think one of the bios I had in the beginning was these Brooklyn veins carry Trini blood. And just because people knew my family was from Trinidad, they supported me. Just because people knew I was from Brooklyn, they supported me. So you want to give something personal about yourself to make a connection, but not too personal that people don't take what you do seriously. That is one of the biggest tips I can give you. I hope these tips helped you understand why it's important to have a page on social media, specifically Instagram, and take up space. Instagram is an amazing free tool. It's still free. So please take up space. Get some Instagram real estate. Think about descriptive words, Google synonyms. Think about what you would like to hear people say. You say it out loud. You got this. This is easy. That is one of the first ways for people to take you seriously. And now you have a home for your work that you can be proud of. Good luck.